There are people today, for you both to know, who are going so hard with you need to follow it perfectly and are just going so hard on paleo. And I'm like, dude, I'm sitting with the people who made the thing you're looking at, and they're telling you there's nuance around it. They're the ones who are telling you don't follow this paper blindly. And if you are the people who are, again, not originating the diet, as we named some of the amazing originators of the program, but if the people who made a lot of the materials and a lot of the frameworks around what you're looking at and were foundational in this are telling you it's not that simple, I promise you it's not that simple. If it was that simple, y'all would still be, you're very smart, both of you. You would still be way in it. You would still be going hardcore. You both did it for your own bodies. It didn't work for your own bodies. There might be some people who it still works for their own bodies, but I have to tell you, even the most popular diets now that are really hot right now, and we'll call it in the keto arena, the originators are changing those diets all the time. The ones who there's some that just came out in the past 2 years or so, they're not even eating that way anymore, because at the end of the day, what we know to be true is that there is truly, even the most hopeful one of all, paleo, the most hopeful style of eating that should and can be applied to everyone, supposedly, still isn't perfect if you don't apply it individually. And I still, again, it's been 10 plus years that I've been interested in paleo and excited by paleo. And I still believe in some of the principles of it. Again, and this is Quiet the Diet. The whole point is to not use our egos, to listen to our intuition. And still the science does stand in some way. That being said, when you twist it with diet culture, it's the same thing as anything else. It's not, actually I want to rephrase that. It's really not the same thing as everything else, because I don't believe that any diet at baseline will produce good results. But I do believe that the very basic concepts of eating real whole foods will stand the test of time. And I think that'll be true in 50 years and 100 years. And I also think we'll learn more and more with nutrigenomics and with all these other amazing new sciences that are coming out, how darn individualized nutrition is. But
everything you were just saying reminded me of this quote that I'm going to butcher, but it's this quote is, being changeable at its best is wisdom. It's not inconsistency, it's wisdom. And we certainly have, a fork in the road there where some people are just kind of trying to throw anything they can at the wall, and this isn't working, so let's throw this into the protocol. But there are also people, I think, like the three of us, I hope, who say, I observe this, and wisdom would guide me to say, maybe now we need to look here, and maybe now we need to add this layer onto this thing. And if we are approaching it that way, I think with wisdom as a guide, I think that's where we are going to end up with the best possible outcomes.
In addition to that, not only is it going to guide you in the right direction, it actually guides you in the same direction. All three of us came from completely different perspectives and kind of met in this, ooh, there's hope and excitement here. And now it's 10, 15 years later, and the three of us kind of live our lives really similarly as practitioners, as people, as eaters. And the truth that evolves, I think, does evolve. But what is so beautiful and so amazing is that underneath kind of all of these diets and underneath all of these things is innate wisdom and truth. There is real truth. And all three of us practice under that truth, which is that people matter, our soul and the way we feel about things matters, and that we are all so unique. And I think that we all landed in the same diet kind of mentality or ideas about diet culture or ideas about intuitive eating, because not only when you pursue truth without ego, you all land on the same truth, which is so amazing. And I feel that way, why the three of us, I think, feel so connected, and why we've always just jived so well is because underneath ego is just, there's inherent truth, I think, which is so cool.
Yeah. I love that. Oh, so beautifully
Nice.
said.
Wow.
I love how you speak. It's just very true and raw and real. And I would say like how my protocol or like how my eating style has changed now is I follow something more of a I call it structured flexibility. So I use a concept that I've learned through paleo and through trying different things over the years to inform what makes sense for me in the broad concept for each day. So I know a certain amount of protein makes me feel good. Then I can plug and play what that looks like based on what's available, what sounds good. I know having vegetables, a large amount at lunch and dinner, feels good. Whatever those vegetables are, like I can play with. fats. Like I know I need to have a good amount of fat at each meal to feel full. So from there, I have so much flexibility where it keeps things fun and interesting. I know I'm going to feel well because I've got enough of that protein and fiber and phytonutrients to really thrive, but I'm not so rigid in what I can and can't have, especially as a mom where I'm going out to dinner with my family. And I don't want to not have the ice cream because it's not paleo. I don't want them to see that I'm counting or weighing a certain amount of food because I don't want them to feel like food is a number. I want them to understand how it's broken down and actually teaching my kids about the structure of what actually will make their body feel good, but not bound to the rules. So like, for example, dairy with my kids, like sometimes we have it, sometimes we don't. Gluten, if they're out at a birthday party, sometimes they have it, but most of the time they don't. And I think it's really important, especially like Liz and I are both parents, is to work on yourself before you have kids ideally. But when you do have kids, make sure that some of your like food issues aren't subconsciously pushed on them. And I think the best way to start is to eat well, but not be so structured or rigid with it that there's fear attached to it. I don't think it's wrong to kind of have a framework that works for you. But the problem is when it's become too rigid, where if you steer off track or if you start becoming more isolated or not going to a party or events because of it.